what do you think of that overall performance, especially the growth from the first half to the second half?
Firstly, a shout out to the 93 Tigers. I'll get it in right from the start. I thought it was about to call security, these guys running at me a minute before the game, Rob Sibley and Stephen Whitehead and stuff. So, no, so they're great to see those guys. They look like they had a great day. Yeah, from the first half to the second half, I think, we've been a team that's held teams in the paint to, in the mid-40s percentage-wise, and they were shooting it at 60 plus, but they were layups, and that was the thing. I thought we lived with some side contests and some mid-range in the second half, and kept them off the foul line. And I think the first 4 out of 5 possessions of the second half, they made tough mid-range jumpers, and you got to live with something. And over the course of the second half, we hold them to 31, and did a good job of guarding the perimeter and keeping them off the foul line. But this weekend was, we were disappointed with our D-trans and our rebounding, kind of last time we played this team, and I thought, so happy with the performance of the way that we rebounded the ball, this weekend. Ariel thought he was a menace to start the game, and we really challenged LT to get up to be a top 10 rebounder in this league. In both games this weekend, he really got after it, and we just did a much better job with the physicality of box out. So pretty pleasing.
Knowing some of the bodies you're missing, is there a concerted effort early on to get Chris the ball? Is it a conversation you had? What's that process like?
No, not really. Like I could see him when we're doing film before the game. We talked about people stepping up, and anytime he sees a couple of key guys and Delhi and Ian being out, so he puts those things on his shoulders himself. I don't need to push that one too much, but let's run him the first play and let's get him going. And he was amazing all night.
What do you think of your complement, your sort of role players, from Tanner to Flynn to even Carl Bowen's D on Gary Clark? What do you think of all those guys?
Yeah, KB to start with, like his coverages, he just never really gets one wrong. Cole Bowen, he's just really good. He might have been one in the game where we missed on a switch, but he's just on point with all those things. That's why we recruited him. We just thought how outstanding he was in the game that we played against him, and just talking to his coach, just how good he is defensively. And I thought he had a huge weekend. Shooting the basketball down in Tassie and then coming back and defending. Clark was good today. Like he was a monster early on, and the way he was attacking the rim, shooting the ball, he was a problem. So great. Tanner, we needed that extra defender today with not having Ian and not having Delhi, and it really put it on Flynn and Tanner to really take on that role today. And Shea, we kind of had him guard Robinson a lot in the first game we played him, and today we kind of flipped it and said let's get after Harvey a little bit more. And Robinson obviously had a good game as well, but I thought Flynn and Tanner, just the way they competed to get over screens or under screens, their commitment to it, and nice to see them both make a couple of shots as well.
Chris, coming into this one, did you know that you had to be a bit more involved, a few more touches, maybe look at the rim a little bit more than usual?
It was, IC is such a big part of what we do, and he's been so fantastic up until now. So there's a hole that's there, and you don't try and do it all yourself. We've been speaking about, and what I love about this team is there's going to be opportunities for a lot of guys, and we saw Cole Bowen take that the other night. We saw Tanner and Flynn step up tonight and take the opportunities, and that's what you want to see for a team that's got young guys that are hungry. They want to prove themselves when opportunity presents, especially when you're doing well. We're on a nice little roll at the moment. Sometimes it's harder to get minutes or whatever it may be, but guys stepping up into their roles and grabbing opportunity is the most pleasing for me. But I just had to be aggressive, and I didn't go out there to try and do whatever it says on the box score. I just knew we'd come off a long stretch of games, and we need some leadership, some aggressiveness to go out there and try and get this dub.
there was no, looking at the '93 boys in the crowd saying, this is what the modern boys can serve up.
No, I did see a few of them though. It was cool. I saw Hoagie, I saw Drewy, LC, even it wasn't on that team, but Stephen Hawes, courtside as well. I've played with him. He's a good mate of mine. So it was cool to see so many legendary basketball figures there, and I think the club did a really good job of celebrating not only that '93 team, but the Melbourne Tigers. They're such a massive part of our history, a massive part of my history. So really cool to see everyone there.
Dean, were you relieved to see Luke come back in the second half, and how concerned were you when you saw him clutching his leg with his knee?
Yeah, he still kind of hobbled a little bit in that second half as well, but took a nice knock in Tassie the other day, and we're just learning more and more about LT, and people at different times are going to go after him with their physicality, and I just like the way he's responded. Every time right now he's just got up and kept playing and had an extra little spark to him when he gets back into the game. So I think it's a real positive the way he's just bouncing back right now.
He had, I remember asking Luke in the pre-season about having a clear, defined role here, and he had a big smile on his face. How have you seen him grow into that, and probably still a fair bit of development to go?
Yeah, the thought today a little bit with, we played him point guard in his first preseason game this year, and I was like, well, we're going to need some help there today. Do we shift him down, or do we just let him be a point guard from the 4 spot and let him carry the basketball and initiate some offense that way? And so that's the way we went. And I thought, I think it was a 2-minute period that we kind of threw him in point guard. But I think he's. We're always pushing him to continue to stay aggressive, and he needs that every now and again. And we saw a big one probably early in the fourth. I think he just attacked the rim and I could see him kind of thinking, oh, should I just defer and pass it, and he just attacked and got to the rim. And so we just got to keep encouraging those things with him. But again, just attack the boards. That was huge for us this weekend.
Chris mentioned perhaps the guys that are down the rotation a little bit. What's this group like? I mean, sometimes there's always a little bit of healthy frustration with guys wanting to play more. What has this group been like for you as you work through trying to figure it all out with a deep team?
Yeah, with the games just coming thick and fast, I don't think anyone's crying about minutes or anything right now, and everyone's. It's natural of any team that everyone wants a little bit more, but I think everyone's happy to sacrifice for getting wins, and that's priority for everybody is to make sure we keep ticking wins over. And so the Joe and Ariel one, and now we get some practice time to see if we can build a chemistry with them if we want to play them together, and we put that into practice. There's some other lineups that we want to look at as well, and so incorporating people back in, having Delhi come back in, having IC come back in, and so that's just going to be a gradual process over these next few weeks to make sure we do that as smoothly as we can. But I think we've done that pretty well so far, and it's always part of my coaching I want to be better at is when people step up, it's a little easier, but when people come back into the lineup, how do you integrate them? And so so far we've done well this year.
And the only game you lost, you were in a pretty damn good position to win. So how do you assess where the team is at right now then, with obviously, as you mentioned, some guys that have been out along the way?
Yeah, obviously, pleasing. Our record's been great, and how we close our games was certainly a work on after we lost that one. And I think we've found some structure that's, some pretty good down the stretch about where we want to go. 2 or 3 plays that everyone's pretty comfortable with. We're starting to. Our offense has improved. I think there was, looking at our numbers kind of from game 1 to the last game, it just kept getting better. Our offensive rating just kept getting better, and so there's a connection with this group, and pretty pleased to find a way to put 96 on the board tonight with the people that we had out. IC was incredible down in Tassie, and the way he scored the basketball, and to be able to replace that today was great.
Just precautionary with IC?
Yeah, he was close. He fitness test right before the game, and I think it was a smart thing to not have him out there, and he won't be far away.
What is his injury?
He took a knock, but I think he'll be all right.
You guys get a week of rest, basically. that it's, I guess, your first week where you have one game this next round, right?
Yeah, we're on a
what's the
Monday
focus?
leading into Melbourne Cup. We've got a Monday night Perth game, so
So what's the focus? I guess you get some practice reps now that you previously hadn't had, but what are you focusing on?
I'm sure these guys are looking at me like we just played 6 games in 16 days or something. We need to we need to take a little bit of a break. So yeah, we got a blackout day tomorrow. We don't want to see anybody, and then we'll just ease back into it. We'll just take a few days to let our bodies recover, and then later in the week I think we can get some good contact in.
How far away is Delhi potentially? Is it you just take it day by day, or?
Yeah, he was on the phone when we were in Tassie, ready to go today, and so I felt like we've made sure he's going to be ready for the next game, and so he'll get full contact next week, which is the only part of his rehab that he hadn't quite got in was enough 5-on-5, and so he's got a good week to get that in, and he'll be ready to go.